Well, it was interesting because Michael came into the office, and he came into the office at noontime because he didn't want to come in when there was anybody in the office. And he came in the back door, sat in my exam chair, and they put a towel over his head. And I thought, this is really strange. So I came into the exam room, and I lifted the towel up and introduced myself. And the director, John Landis, was there. And he says, Michael, this is Dr. Greenspoon, and he's going to fit you with contact lenses. And if you do everything he says, I have a surprise for you. And Michael goes, what's a surprise? What's a surprise? So anyway, he opened up this bag, and it was a cherry tart. So, you know, that was the level that we were dealing with Michael. But I was not too happy with, later on when he was interviewed on television, he said, what do you think of the contact lenses? And he seemed very, very fond of saying, oh, they burn like Tabasco. I don't know, have any of you ever put Tabasco in your eyes? So in 1984, I was invited to Pinewood Studios in London to work with two of my English optometrist friends to participate in the special effects of a movie called Legend. And not too many people have seen Legend. It was with Tom Cruise, and it was one of his early movies. And there was an actor called Knight, played by Tim Curry. And the whole scene was shot under black light. And he had lenses with fluorescein, which was sort of scary. And so if you ever get a chance to see it, it's really an interesting effect. So I don't really have a big ego, but you know, during all this time, I never was able to get screen credit. I would, you know, say to the producer, you know, how about screen credit? You want what? We don't give screen credit for contact lenses. So one day I sort of got fed up. I said to my daughter, I said, how do you get screen credit? So she said, I have a friend who's an entertainment attorney, and talk to him. So I talked to him, and he says, it's very simple. All you have to do is write up a contract, and the contract calls for remuneration and screen credit. And so I said, gee, that's great. We were doing a movie at that time called The Lost Boys. And The Lost Boys was about a gang of motorcycle vampires that were loose in Northern California. And Kiefer Sutherland was the head vampire. And it's sort of a cult classic if you ever get a chance to see it. So we made the lenses. There were about 5 or 6 main actors that were wearing the Exorcist type lenses. And it came time to start shooting the movie. And they called up and said, where are the lenses? And I said, where's the contract? So the gal from the legal department says, well, you know, we don't know whether we really want to sign the contract. And I said, gee, I don't know whether I really want to deliver the lenses. And you're starting to shoot in 3 days. So she says, well, you should really come and talk to the director. So I went over to Warner Brothers director's office, and it was one of these offices with a suit of armor and a sword and all that kind of stuff. And his name was Joel Schumacher, and I had never met him before. And I walk in, and he says, hi, Mort, what can I do for you? So, you know, this is standard showbiz. So I said, gee, Joel, we got a problem. So he says, what's the problem? So I said, your legal department doesn't want to sign the contract giving me screen credit. And he says, you know what? And I says, what? He says, screw the legal department. He didn't really say that, he used the F word. He said, let me sign that thing. So he signed the contract, and that was my first screen credit. So early in my career, I befriended a young makeup artist by the name of Greg Canham. And Greg Canham was a very talented guy. And later on, on in his career, he did the makeup for Graham Stoker's Dracula. And we did the contact lenses for that. And it got the Academy Award for makeup. And Greg was very nice in accepting the Academy Award. He said, I want to thank Dr. Greenspoon. And I got it on tape. So, so that was our Academy Award for Best Makeup. And then we did the whole Star Trek series for Warner Brothers. Michael Westmore, they had a makeup there, and I, very good friends, and every couple of weeks he would come up with a design for a new monster lens, which we would then make. And so we got 2 Emmy Awards for episodes of Star Trek, which I'm very proud of. And we had a friend that we met in our travels in Europe by the name of Freddie Bansky. And Freddie Bansky had a contact lens company in Finland that made a really superior cosmetic contact lens. It was much better than Wesley Jesson's. And so we said, you know, why don't you sell your process to Cooper Vision? And he said, yeah, well, I'd like to retire. And so he did sell his process to Cooper Vision. And the minute he did that, SIBA sued him for patent infringement. There wasn't any patent infringement, but they sued him for patent infringement anyway, because that's the way they operate. If they could keep a competitor tied up in litigation for a year or two, that's just so much the better for them. So they sued for patent infringement in the Queen's Court in London. I don't know why they sued in London, but that was where it was. And so we got to go to London and testify that the process that he used was not really novel, that Wesley Jessen never should have gotten a patent on it, and that SIBA was not entitled to sue for patent infringement. And the trial went on for 2 or 3 days, and the barrister was trying to grill me. And part of the test for patent infringement is that the process has to be common knowledge, and that somebody lectured on it someplace at some time prior to the patent. And I had lectured in Japan several years before that on cosmetic contact lenses, and I had saved all the letters and all the correspondence and everything. So we put that into evidence, and the barrister finally got so frustrated with me. She says, Dr. Greenspoon, I find it bizarre that a man of your age could have such exact memory of things that happened so long ago, which was really a stupid thing to say because the judge was my age. So anyway, the judge threw the patent out, and we won the case, and Cooper Vision was forever grateful to us. And in fact, they paid for making this movie that you're going to see, which cost a few $1,000s. And so I think that we're to the point now where we can watch the video with the movie clips, and a lot of the things that I have just been talking about will become clearer because you'll actually see them on the screen. So Flya, shall we? One other thing, at the very end of this, I was asked to go on a television show called the Guinness Book of Records, in which this lady could pop her eyes out 11 millimeters. And so I measured it for a new world record. And several months later, they called me and said, we want to have a pop-off. And I said, we'll have 2 more people that can pop their eyes out, and we want to see if they can pop their eyes out farther than the original lady. So we had the pop-off, and so we got it all on screen, so you'll be able to see it, and you'll probably get a big kick out of it.